So week 3, these are the things we need to go through, but I just wanted to go back. These are the things that we were looking for as a task for everybody just to prepare for tonight. So at the end of the session, for those of you who have created posts, what we're going to do is we are going to go let you go and create those posts and engage and show you a couple of key techniques that you really need to know when it comes to helping your posts go viral, because the key thing, or not necessarily only viral, but just getting the eyes that it needs, because without doing some of these basics, unfortunately, you'll do what I did for my first almost 10 years on LinkedIn, and that is the spray approach. So we are going to do that. How many of you had a chance to update your public profiles?
No.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, just need tweaking a little bit.
Good stuff. Nick, straight up there with a hand. So
yeah,
good.
I changed my banner and advertised an event that we have starting next week. But I do have a question for you on that, but that's probably not for this forum.
Okay, well, we'll at the end, let me just have a look at my times, Nick, because if I can answer it for you today, then that would be optimum to give you some help and results on that. Let me just see what time my next call is after this. Oh, I have 7 o'clock.
We'll see how it goes.
I'll see how it goes, but we'll try and get that in somehow.
Sure.
Excellent stuff. Joel's jumping in. Okay, how many of you have prepared a post for tonight?
No.
Nick, Ray,
yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, so Brian's nothing.
No.
So
frustratingly, no, Mac. We'll speak later, okay? Right? Well, I want to get some time down with you because it's I'm behind schedule and lots of stuff. This
okay.
It's frustrating as I can't explain.
Okay, so I know that these things are going to be challenging, but where possible, try and push through to do at least one task a week, because that way the needle moves each week. Because most people, when they go on coaching or training sessions like this, it is easy to let the week overtake and then you end up not doing anything. And that's why I've broken the course into 1 hour a week with those 2 half-hour support sessions that you can go and dip into. And that way you guarantee the needle moves over 12 weeks rather than do a course and then disappear with lots of notes and no real results. Okay, and then how many of you have popped onto the Q&A support sessions this week? I can tell you now, it's been a 0 show from this group. So it is there again for your support. So as an example, if you've got an event like Nick has, or you've got something coming up or something that irrelevant, whether it's on point for the content we've covered or not, it's your opportunity to come in, jump in, come and ask a question. And feel free to use that as additional time. You can just probe your specific strategy, if that makes sense. But we can then go into your company pages, we can go into specific posts, we can really dive into the deeper side of things, and that's what the Q&A and support sessions are for. So please, over the next week, use them as much as you can. Even if you just drop in, ask a question and go, that's also okay. But they are there for your support. Okay, so moving on. This week, we was one of the things we haven't covered is keywords and SEO, post titles, post timing, when am I, and then other, which is SSI. So SSI, I really want to get into the first 2 topics. How many people were able to complete that form that I sent out earlier today? Nick, Eugene, great stuff. I know Joel, I think Joel mentioned that he did it as well. So the form that I sent you earlier on LinkedIn is really just it's a way for you to measure on a weekly basis just how you're doing. So I can then go through that when we have our one-on-one reviews, and I can have a look at how you are progressing. Like, is there a movement with regards to things like the connections, with regards to your followers, with regards to your engagement, with regards to your SSI? We're going to go through that now so that you understand the importance of that. But I'll also cover why SSI is important. how many of you have or know what SSI is? Kind of.
I don't know what it means, but it's
Yep.
it's the measure of your, I'll say, I use the word effectiveness, or your measure of my visibility.
Yeah. How many people have used or know how to impact your own SSI? Ray
Partially,
does?
yeah.
Okay, partially. We're going to go into some of those details today. And I want you to just kind of think about how you can go about impacting these little bits, because this is what's going to impact things like reach and exposure and engagement and all those really important bits. You know, we're not going to be worried too much about vanity metrics, but these are the metrics that are going to give you an indication as to whether you're moving in the right direction or not. So let's go into SSI. So I've just done a screen grab of my SSI as an example, and mine fluctuates anywhere between, depending on what I'm doing. And this is one thing to remember is SSI is a guide, okay? Now, depending on what your strategy is, you can have your SSI drop down to 60 and still it not being that important. But if certain parts of your SSI drop too low, it's also an easy guide to look at going, okay, I've been neglecting certain activities on LinkedIn, and that's probably why I'm not getting the right people responding or engaging with my posts. So hopefully that this will make more sense as I go through this with you. So very few, there are less, as you can see, by having an 85, I'm in top 1% in my industry, top 1% in my network. Now, for me, that's okay. But as you grow your network, that percentage can drop on a regular basis, because you may connect with other people that have a higher SSI, and therefore your SSI is low within your network. And that's okay, because you're just stretching yourself and surrounding yourself with other people that are more active and better on LinkedIn. You know, all these other things, which we're going to go through, establishing a professional brand. Now, that's one of the key things to make sure that at least when people go onto your profile, it's got all the right things in place to make sure your profile stands out and there's a high likelihood of them engaging you as a client. I've just got off a call now, which was very bizarre, because the person booked it in my Calendly. I thought it was a meeting that Joe had booked, and it wasn't. And then when I looked on my LinkedIn, she was a third connection. And I was sitting there thinking, how did we even get a meeting? And she's only got 5 connections. And I thought, this is a dodgy profile, like what's going on? And then when I had when she came onto the Zoom call, she found my profile through LinkedIn. And because it ticked all the boxes, I was basically the person she selected as a LinkedIn expert to work with. And when I went through it, you know, 90% of the stuff on her profile was frightening, was way out. But because my profile was set up properly, my branding was right, it made it easy for her to select. And actually, it's quite a big organization in the US that work with Black Lives Matter and various other organizations. And I was blown away that they chose me to even think about working with, which is great. But all these things impacted that. The next thing is finding the right people. So finding the right people, again, is, as an example, mine's dropped quite a bit because I find and do a lot of connections. As an example, I might go and look for target audience for Nick, or the target audience for Brian, or the target audience for Raymond through my profile. And that'll impact my SSI because I'm looking for people that are not necessarily my target audience, but other people's. But if I was using your profile and you were constantly connecting with the people that could impact your industry, then your SSI will be higher because of the fact that you're connecting with relevant people. Does that make sense? Yeah. The next thing is engaging with insights. And we're going to go through that with you in a bit more detail as well, because the biggest mistake I made on LinkedIn when I first started was I was doing the spray and pray approach. So I was doing a lot of content was going out. I was showing up on every single social media platform, but the one thing that was missing was engagement. And the key thing is, if you don't recognize those people, so Nick, when it comes to company pages, those people that engage and comment, if you don't recognize those people, or if they make a comment on a post and you don't respond to them, they just will not bother engaging with your content, because people want to be seen, they want to be recognized, they want to be appreciated, and they want to be valued for the impact that they give you as well. So even the smallest of things, if people just go, great post, respond to them and just say, hey, thank you so much for taking the time. Because what you're trying to do is that person, by engaging with them, you get access to their network, because in their network's feeds, they are going to see, and I'm sure each one of you have seen this at some point in your feed, where it says, oh, Nick has just liked this post, or Nick has just commented on this post, or somebody in your network has engaged with somebody else's post. I got a great post today, because one of my clients is a property investor in Dubai, and he came to me and he said, hey, he's trying to connect with lots more people in Dubai that are in startups, as an example. And James Khan went and did a post about startups while he's in Dubai now. And all those people that engaged with that are perfect opportunities for him to engage with. So just finding where that tribe hangs out is also impossible. So it's going, important. Sorry. Yes, Brian.
Thank you, Barry. You know, when you say, if someone says, you know, great post, or gives a like or support emoji, I should respond, which I get. Is there a minimum number of words? Because I know before we spoke about, if you just put, hey, thank you, buddy, that might not have as much outreach or reach out as me putting, hey, thank you for your response. I really appreciate your help. Let's speak sometime. So is there a number of words we should do?
So there's two parts to the strategy. One is by liking and acknowledging the people that have engaged with you. That gets you on their radar in their feed. Okay. But if I go and comment on your post, Brian, as an example, and I just go, great post, that's not going to have, the algorithm's not going to pick that up as a significant contribution to that post. So anything from 7 to 10 words plus really adds weight to your comment. So if you're going to add a comment to somebody's post, add something of significance, add something of value. And I always try and add something that has a call to action to it. So if Brian's done a great post, but there's, and I think, okay, this is really interesting information, I might go and ask him a question. Well, how do you think that applies to me, Brian? Or, how would this apply to somebody in my industry? Or how would that apply to, X? Just some way of getting that person to come back and ask and answer the question to continue the conversation. And that's a really good question, Brian, because what that leads to is an opportunity to start a conversation. So you get mini activity within the post. But what also happens is it gives you an opportunity to, as the professional who's written the post, to elaborate on something.
Exactly the point.
It gives you a better opportunity of now, say, as an example, Ryan has commented on Brian's post. Brian has answered the question and elaborated. Now, if Brian just went and sent Ryan a connection request out of the blue, the chances are Ryan will probably just ignore it because he doesn't know what the context is. But if Ryan then gets a connection request as a response to a comment he's done on his post, there's a much higher likelihood that he will accept, because he'll go, oh, wow, I just commented on this person's post. They've actually taken the time not only to respond, but actually send me a connection request. And most people assume that when they engage on people's posts, getting a connection request straight away is not something that will happen. So you've got to increase your chances of starting a real valuable conversation by having those conversations in the posts and responding to people's comments. So I'm going to go to the next bit. So this is some really important, Brian, you touched on this very briefly earlier, but when it comes to SSI, up to 75% is where most people fall on LinkedIn. And that's why they don't get the reach that they need. So from 75 upwards, and congratulations, Joel's just hit 75. The 75 to 90 on your LinkedIn SSI gives you 125% reach of the average person. So you get 125% of your network reach potentially. But if you are 90 and above, which there's something like 0.3% of people on LinkedIn have a 90 plus. And most of those, yeah, it's a very small amount. And even some of the top LinkedIn people in the world that I know of, they kind of range between 80 and 85 and 92. That's where they kind of fall, and it changes from week to week as well. Nick, you got a question?
Yeah, I've got a question. The link that was in the form that you sent out, which takes us to get those numbers, it doesn't appear to have a reference in the URL to my profile. So how do I know that that's actually looking at my profile?
Good question. If you are logged into LinkedIn, it will automatically go, pull the numbers from your profile.
Okay.
It will ask you to log in.
So that leads me to my second question, because I'm an admin for our company page. How can I get the SSI for that company? Because I don't actually log in.
So there isn't an SSI for a company page. Only for a personal profile.
Right.
But there are, and I'll touch base on this in one of the next sessions, there are a whole stack of new analytics tools that have come into company pages, which before were non-existent, because company pages up until about 2 years ago was more of a bookmark, and you could post and that was about it. But now you can do so much more. You can do newsletters, you can do LinkedIn live video broadcasts,
right,
and you can do alerts to your company, to your team, so that they get an alert when a new post goes out as well.
Right.
Support that. So I will cover that on one of the next sessions with you.
Okay.
So that's a good question, Nick. So let's go into the first one. So the first one, how do I build or create a professional brand and boost my SSI score? So there are 4 points here that you really need to look at. The most important bit as a headline to think about, and this is why we asked you to go and have a look at after session 1, to go and complete your profile as much as possible. That adds to the SSI score and your brand. So if you're missing bits, it's going to impact your reach on LinkedIn. Okay, so the first one, you should complete your profile. Now, it used to have, has anybody heard of the all-star rating?
Yeah.
Okay, now that doesn't exist anymore, Brian.
Just shows I'm so out of it.
So this is the frustrating thing. So when I first started with the LinkedIn coaching with Brian and various other people almost 3 years ago now, the LinkedIn had something called an all-star status. So you knew if you had completed your profile. LinkedIn has done so many updates since that they've now removed that, and you have no clue. So the only way to do that, and I'm going to share my profile with you because I want to show you just a bit of a recap. I know we've done this before. Anytime today, there we go. Okay, so when you go onto your profile, what you need to basically do is you need to go to the section over here that says add profile section. And when you click on that, you then want to go and click on every single one of these, and you want to go and add as much information into all the relevant ones that you can. Because the way, when it looks at search results, so say for argument's sake, I'm looking for somebody that does what you do, Nick, or what your company does. If those search terms aren't in your profile under your about section or your company experience section, as an example, if you just have the company name there, there's no SEO that's being built into it so that you can arrive higher on the search rankings. So as an example, if you want to compete with other people in your industry, the more complete your profile is, the more SEO your profile has in, the higher you will rank. Okay, really, really important. So little things like this is, add education, add position. If you have had a career break, fine, but you don't have to put that in there. But over here, add a featured section. Make sure you've got that on your profile. Make sure that you've got recommendations, licenses, and certifications. Now, I'm assuming, Nick, in your industry, licensing and certifications all over the place. Yes, people must have.
Yeah. Not for me personally, but
for the people in your company. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Now, what you can do is because of the company has all these recommendations and these certifications, you can put them under there. You can, as an example, put some of the company certifications underneath there.
Okay. So things like ISO 9001, put that in there.
Yeah. So you can put ISO 9001, and then you can add details to it and say our company is ISO 9001 registered, as an example.
Okay.
If you need help with ISO standards, speak to Jo. She's mad. She knows stuff about that even people who write the damn things don't know. Anyway, moving along. Additional, so again, all of these, add volunteer and experience section, causes, organizations, languages, as much as you can. If you're working on certain projects that you're allowed to put out a public thing, put that out and put that in there as well. Okay, all this is going to help your brand score. Eugene, go for it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, with the spaces that you don't put any information in, what happens if you put something in like a full stop, for example? Does that do anything?
It actually helps you in your ranking. It's bizarre, but it helps you in your ranking because it just shows that section is complete. It has something in it. But I know that I found this about 18 months ago. I found somebody who ranked higher than me on LinkedIn only because of the fact that they had actually a blank profile with lots of full stops, and I was so annoyed. So yeah, good question. Okay, so let's just go back here. The next thing is multimedia. So things like adding rich content to your profile, like videos, presentations, and a good cover photo are important. So making sure that your profile photo is up to date and clear so that people can see it. Using your banner for the background. When you go and do your featured section. So if I go back to LinkedIn, so featured section, you can go, if you go on mine, you can see, here's an example of just some of the clients I've worked with. And that's under my featured section. And all I had to do was go and hit the plus button, and I can go and add an image as an example. Or I can go and add an article or a link to an article. So Nick, you might want to put stuff from your company pages on there, or from your company website that you link on there. So you can go and do that to make it relevant. So just by putting this rich content is going to make your profile from a brand perspective look much better. And then if you go further down, you'll see in my activity, I've got video content, I've got images, I've got loads of things that are adding to my profile to show that my profile isn't just a dead, no activity profile. And then under the experience section, you can do the same. So you can see I've done, under my experience section, I've got loads of little things that added as well. So as an example, Nick, when you're doing those events, if it's an event that's, say there's a web page people can go and register on, you might want to go and add that link into your experience section that people can go and ask questions. Go for it, Brian.
With regards to the videos, does it have to be your own created one of my face, or can it be a video from an insurance company but does a cover story about insurance?
Exactly. As long as it's rich content. They don't currently penalize if you don't show your own face, but I think for Brian they should.
I know you said that as well. Okay.
So yeah. So all those things are important. The next thing is endorsements. Now, a lot of people think, well, endorsements aren't important because LinkedIn have actually kind of lost the plot a little bit with endorsements, because almost anybody can now endorse you, which is kind of annoying. But here's where you can score some points. Brian, do you still have a question?
No. Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry. Sorry.
It's all good. So when it comes to endorsements, I want to show you, let me go back to LinkedIn, and I'm going to go down to endorsements over here. So if you look at the endorsement side of things, if you get endorsements by other people that are in your industry, and they already have endorsements that say that they are skilled at that activity, then it counts higher for you on the search rankings. So as an example, if you see over here, I'm endorsed by Anders Grady, and he's a LinkedIn coach and teacher as well. But because he's highly skilled at that, it's going to count more points to me than if it was just somebody who randomly left me an endorsement. Because, wow. So if, as an example, Brian, if you get other colleagues of yours to endorse you, or other experts in LinkedIn, if you go onto their, on insurance, if you go onto their profile and you know them and you've worked with them, maybe they worked at a past company, the easiest way to get endorsements is to give them. So go and spend 5 minutes every 3 or 4 days and set yourself a target of giving 5 to 10 endorsements a week, as an example. And then what you'll start finding is people naturally will respond with endorsing you as well.
That's superb. Because
Okay?
there's so many commentators in my industry who I view on LinkedIn. I can now allows me to engage with their posts, even reach out as a message. Okay, if they're not if they're not a first line contact yet. But even most of them, I'm happy to speak to and say, hey, buddy, I want to endorse you, but let's exchange our endorsements.
Yeah, so you just send them and you can do that in DM. So you can just go and send a direct message going, hey, I'm just about to endorse you for some of the skills I know you're good at. Would really appreciate if you could reciprocate. That's it.
Yeah.
And you'll find, because when I go on here and I go and let's just go to Brian as an example. Here we go. No pressure, that photo needs an update.
I'll get Gary and Tanda to take out that mirror in the background.
I can do that for you.
Okay, that's not bad.
It takes seconds.
Okay.
In fact, I'm going to send you an updated profile picture after this, Brian.
Okay, but without the mirror, that's fine. I actually like the picture. I look young in that picture.
That's the problem. Picture. That's hey, you're still handsome. You just
no, trust me, I'm not.
A little bit older. Okay, so if I go to your endorsement,
I think the word you were looking for there is a little bit wiser.
Wiser.
Yeah, he's got those couple of grey streaks now.
That's not helping, Eugene. That's not helping at all.
Okay, so if I go, you can see I've endorsed Brian for a few things because I've actually known Brian for quite some time.
Thank you.
You want to aim at getting your endorsements to a minimum of 10 endorsements in each skill category. Okay. Ultimately, for me, I wanted to get it to 100. So most of my skills have already got 80 plus. Some of them have got 100 plus. But as an example, business protection, which you talk about all the time, Brian, you've got 2 endorsements.
See, that's wonderful because I mean, I'm completing that course with Matthew Chapman, which I told you about. I mean, there were 7 of us on the course. All of those we're now forming friendships. And again, that's
and every single one of them can
we can support each other.
Correct, 100%, absolutely. And you could also support each other's posts.
Yeah.
So as an example, if you go on there and you can go income protection, that's another big one that you talk about. Life insurance. Look at that, Brian. How good of a life insurance person do you think people think you are when you've got 1 endorsement?
Yeah, it's madness.
Okay, so
thank you for highlighting that.
The thing is, you've got hundreds of people that can leave you a positive endorsement. The problem is most of us don't think about these things. So I'm going to go on there and hit the endorsements. Critical illness, I know you do. Key person, I've seen you talk about.
Yeah.
Speaking, I've seen you talk about. Sales management, I've seen you talk about with your team. And business networking, without a doubt. So you saw how quickly it was for me to go and endorse Brian on all of those topics. And now Brian's endorsements have all gone up by at least another 10 that I've added. Now, what I would suggest is in the LinkedIn group that we're in on the chat is just drop your, just go to each person's profile and then go and endorse their top 3 skills so that you can support each other And here's the thing, Brian, do you know why nobody's supporting you on life insurance?
Fundamentally, because I haven't asked them to.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two, for those who do want to, do you know why they won't?
Because why they won't? Well, they haven't, because I haven't invited them to and said, hey, could you help me out? But that's one reason, which I just covered already.
Yep.
What's the other reason why they have not?
Okay, it's right in front of you. Anybody spot it?
Clearly, I can't.
It just says insurance, not life insurance.
Okay, so they're going to endorse him for insurance, but they're not going to endorse him for life insurance. Why? Because it's not showing as one of the top three. So this is something you want to go and do. Whatever you want as your top three skills that you currently want endorsing for, go and do this. So we're going to go back, and I'm going to go back to my profile. I'm going to show you how to do this, Brian.
So I can literally manipulate the position.
Correct. I'm going to show
of the skills that I want to be highlighted as my top three.
Correct. So this is, let me go back. All you basically do is you click on the Me button when it decides to do something. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to go down to my skills. And you can do one of two things. If you haven't got skills, you can go and demonstrate skills, and you can actually go do some tests through LinkedIn, which will show some of your skills.
Ah.
Okay, so that's one thing you can do, but you can go and hit the pencil button, and you can have up to 50 skills. You don't have to have all 50 there. You can have up to 50. Now, one of the important things about updating your skills is you may have skills that were relevant to a previous role,
yeah,
and are now showing at the top, and people are going, well, he doesn't do that. Yeah. So this is what you want to do: is you want to go and hit these three little dots. And as I said, user experience is not that great on LinkedIn. Click the three dots, and then you see that it gives you an option to go reorder. And then you click that, wait for it. And what I want you to do as an example, Brian, is you'll get this list, and you want to go to the one that says life insurance. Now I'm going to go and choose international business as an example. And once I select it, I can just drag it to the top. Okay. And once I've done that, I close that window. And now international business is appearing as one of my top three.
Nice.
And that's as easy as it is. It used to be, in fact, Brian, when you first came onto LinkedIn and you started getting involved, they had categories, so you couldn't drag it to the top because it got stuck in a different category that LinkedIn, in its infinite wisdom, decided was the relevant category, even if it wasn't. But now they fixed that. So now you can just drag those skills. And now I'll have, as an example, LinkedIn, I'm at 99 plus. And then online social networking, I'm at 98 plus. But now people can go and endorse that. So if you guys wouldn't mind going to my profile, click endorse for international business, that would be really appreciated. Now, if I go back to my profile.
Matt, can I ask a question?
Of course.
Those, I'll call them tags for now, because that's all I can think of using.
Skills, yeah.
If you go back to the screen I was looking at, or back to the image I was looking at a second ago, they had the word all and three titles next to it.
Okay, I'm just going back.
It's where we were.
No,
it's where we were about literally 5, 6, now 7, now 8 seconds ago.
why has it gone? Oh, this one.
No, if you go, essentially, you had the word all in green, with a green circle. Here we go, thank you. Those three tags, industry knowledge, tools and technologies, and interpersonal skills. What are those and how do I get those there? Because I would then choose specific tags, if that's the right word to use, that are relevant to me. So how do I manipulate it? So
okay, so
the word all, I've got keywords that relate to me.
So a couple of things. Going back to how it used to be, where they had the categories, that's how this is now being changed. So some of those categories are still there, but they no longer fall into the order. So if I go into industry knowledge, it will then show ones that are industry relevant. Then I've got tools and technology. So I might have LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is a tool for LinkedIn, software as a service. And then interpersonal skills can be, these ones as an example.
Okay.
When you go and you click demonstrate skills, it will take you through, demonstrate transferable skills. So you can take the skills assessment, or you can go and look at these and go and play with this in a bit more detail. And you can go and answer questions that are transferable to marketing, as an example. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So each one of those areas. So I guess, Nick, you're going to want to go and play with the marketing one and put as much as you can underneath that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it on my other screen while we're talking.
It can be a bit of a minefield, especially if you don't know what's going on. But you can spread it out. There's no rule that says you need 10 of each, or you need 20 of each, or whatever it is. You've got 50 as a maximum anyway. So
yeah,
go and play with those skills and just reorder so that the top 3 that are most relevant to what you want to be endorsed for right now. And in the beginning, I was afraid to do that because I had, like I've just put international business. I've only got 6 endorsements, and compared to my others that say 90 or 90 plus, it may feel like a little bit, oh, okay, well, maybe they won't want to work with me if I've only got 6 endorsements or even 1. The reality is, over the next few weeks, whatever your top 3 are, it's almost like a natural reaction when people go onto somebody's profile and there's this whole LinkedIn mindset of, if I go into your profile and I give you endorsements, it's easier for me to then do business with you. It helps the search rankings, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's if somebody comes and endorses me and they've never worked with me, it doesn't really add any kind of kudos to them. It doesn't make any impact for me. But what people will do is that helps my search rankings by making sure that the 3 of the top ones that I currently want to get endorsed for are in that first 3 ranking. Does that help?
yeah.
Any questions? No?
No, that's good. Okay.
Good. So we're going to move on. So endorsements, aim to increase your endorsements and recommendations. Again, recommendations, we are going to go through on the next session, in session 4. We're going to go through recommendations, and what I'd like each one of you to do between now and then is make a list of every single person you've come across in business. Okay, so this is colleagues, bosses, similar to the list I asked you to make before, and you can use that same list. And we're going to show you how you go about asking those individuals for recommendations. Okay. So the next thing is long form posts. Publish long form posts, and it used to be called Pulse. It's now called just LinkedIn standard, on a regular intervals to share your experience. Now, Brian, you're very good at the long form stuff. You've already done quite a bit of it. You just need to get back into the swing of it. But long form posts give you an opportunity. LinkedIn used to have 1,600 characters as a maximum. Just so that you know, Brian, it's now 3,000.
I'll see. So the long form post is the post, right?
Yeah. But it's using the whole allowance of characters
space available. Wow.
Yeah. So what when you start writing now and you feel, oh, I'm about to reach the end, and it just keeps going, yeah, you could end up writing a ton. 3,000 characters is actually quite long. But make sure that you don't, if you're doing long form posts, you want to be able to have a nice structure to it. You want to make sure you've got your headline. And in fact, I'm going to send.
I mean, doing those things, I didn't know how to do videos. Well, I'll phrase that. My own videos, I mean.
Yeah.
So I would write, and because I enjoy writing, I'd write it in a manner that it was easy to read. It might take me 2 hours to write a post that might take 10 seconds to read. But I'd write it in a manner that if you read it out loud in your head, you could read it very fluidly.
Yeah.
So yeah, writing the post, the actual spacing, getting the vowels and consonants to match, at the end of sentences and so on. All that makes it an easy read. But that was one heck of a challenge, that was, getting those posts out. But I'll put them again. I can repost them again.
Absolutely. Every single one of them you could pretty much repost.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna send this I'm gonna send this to you on chat. I just need to figure out how to, there we go. Okay. And this is one of the nicest or the better ones that I've used. And if you go in here, there are different types of headlines that you can do. You can do like fun and playful ones, strong controversial ones, explanatory, how-to ones, and then numbered lists. Now, if I'm just going to go in here as an example, and it's got all these prompts on the left-hand side that you can go and put in, and then on the right-hand side, it will give you a headline. It will just generate a headline for you. So as an example, desired outcome, get life insurance.
Oh, you can type your own one in.
Yeah. You put in what the desired outcomes are over here. Headline, branding, life insurance for businesses, keywords, I'm just trying to think some keywords that you would use in your posts, Brian.
Security.
Okay, that's a good word. Who said that?
Nick.
Yeah, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Pity Matt can't spell it.
Yeah, it's my keyboard's actually missing. I don't know, since I restarted it, it doesn't put all the letters in. So I'm having to type rather hard on some of the letters. Supporting keywords.
Go for protection.
Say that again?
Whoa.
Protection. Nothing to do with condoms, Nick. Thank you very much indeed.
Oh, I was thinking of racketeering.
Ah, okay.
See, okay. God, you're mad at me.
I'm just putting some random names in here so you can see. But have a look on the right-hand side. So if I go, there we go. So as an example, this one's come with social proof headline, which is 14,000 users helped me get life insurance. Now you can change those, but there's just an idea of what kind of statements are going to grab attention. You can change those. So I don't always use I very seldom use 100% of what goes on here, but it gives me a good idea of what's going to be grabbing attention. This is all generated by AI, looking at what's been viral headlines as an example. So what kind of formats or statements? So for example, 15 experts share online investment opportunities. So if I go expert roundup.
So these are all live, current, relevant terms.
So what it's doing is it's putting it into, let's see, here we go, 15 experts share top tips as an example. Maybe if I put that in. So you can have all these event topics, hot button issues, ridiculous what the beep sentence.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can go and put all these in, and it's going to then combine it into these type of headlines, just to give you an idea of what can I put in that's catchy, and then you can look at the different ones. So where's this making money? Summary of topic 4 under keywords.
Something else, Mac, in the let's say it's a written form, as in long form post or just written form.
Yeah.
Previously, there wasn't I couldn't figure out a way to embolden or italicize text, but I did see some people could do that.
Yes.
Has that been made easier to embolden, a particular word in a headline or embolden a particular word in your body of text?
Yes, I'll be able to share that with you as well.
Because again, that just makes it more pleasant to read if it's spaced out nicely and you have certain words that are emboldened or italicized or both or underlined.
So I'm going to be sharing all the different resources that you have got to all these little clever items that can help you. Okay, I'm just conscious of time. So we're going to start with the next one on SSI. But does that make sense to everybody on what we've covered so
Yeah,
far?
thank you very much, mate.
Brain?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so this is really key that, just this little exercise has led up to so many different points that can help you on LinkedIn. Okay, so, hey, what are you playing silly buggers for now? Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I'm gonna have to shut this one down because this screen has gone all funny. Oh, what's going on with my computer here? Sorry guys, I'm just having a look. I'm just going to stop share and see why this is freezing my screen here. Canva, come on. This is weird. Okay, I must have clicked on something, but something's stopping me from being able to click on anything here.
Oops, I'm going to play with that kickoff. That's a great idea, that generator, because that can just lead, even if it doesn't give you anything, it can lead to other ideas, which I've already got one already. It just,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
This is so weird.
Or I could ask Raymond, who's got the most amazing imagination you could possibly want to have.
Oh, you'll have tons of ideas if it comes out of Raymond's. Okay, give me a second. I'm just going to shut down a few things here.
So when the beard goes, Mac, you're going to look like an egg.
Oh, God.
My daughter said I'm going to look naked on top and bottom. I was like, oh, thanks.
When I have a shave, people say I look like a thumb.
A thumb.
Yeah, please go and comment on that post of mine today, by the way, so that we can get some eyes on there for the homeless guys. Should be an interesting experience. Oh, okay.
Nick, if anyone's going to look like an egg, I think I'll take the cake.
Okay, guys, I don't know why, but all my screens have frozen. So Nick, I'm going to ask you quickly just to kind of go into that event that you were doing, just so that we can have a look at that.
Okay.
Is the event, so tell us firstly about the event, where it is.
It's at the McCormick Center, Chicago.
Okay.
I've written a post. Do you want me to just post it and you can all have a look at it?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Okay.
In fact,
here we go.
if you want to go to your LinkedIn and post now, the posts that you were going to do, if you want to go and post those, what we'll do is
I've just done it.
Excellent.
Then you can rip it to shreds. That's the idea, isn't it?
That wouldn't happen. This is all about, what's the word in Toastmasters? Commend, recommend, commend.
Okay.
It's the sandwich effect.
Yeah, okay. You say what's wonderful, recommend something, say what's wonderful. It's a good formula. However, like you, Nick, I prefer brutal. I prefer no holds barred, rip it apart. It kind of
straight to it. Protection.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah, I prefer hardcore coaching. I really do. Okay.
Okay, so let's go. Can everybody see Nick's profile?
Oh God.
Let me see the picture. Oh, you look a thumb.
I do look like a thumb. A thumb with hair.
I'm not kidding. Anyway.
Actually, you can see my question now. Go back to my profile page. Now I changed this banner using the Canva thing that you showed us so that
Okay.
it looked like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you go into it, it puts my picture in the bloody middle.
Only on the mobile.
No, on the desktop as well. If you go to the next page where you went to, you'll see that it changes. No, the other way, yeah. Look.
Yeah, but that's it'll do that on the sidebar. It's really annoying, but it's as Raymond has found out, there is no way of trying to get the banner to work everywhere, which is actually quite weird from a design perspective for websites.
Yeah.
Because if you go on the mobile or you go on a tablet, they all look slightly different.
Right.
So you can design your banner so you can have one on either end, but then you go on the main profile and then it cuts.
And it's on the end, it's in the way again. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I would always worry about the main one.
The big one.
Yeah, the big one.
Okay. Okay.
That's the one. Okay, so okay, so this is the one that Nick's just posted.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a quick analysis on this post. Number one, if this comes up in my feed, I'm going to see a block text with no heading, no call to action, no why should I stop here? Does that make sense? So as an example, you've got that take me to church on Sunday, no wait, instead. Now I would leave where the full stop is, I would then leave a white space underneath that. So that's just a one straight headline. So it grabs my attention straight away. Yeah.
It's a new paragraph, basically, yeah?
Yeah. So I've got a headline in my post. Then Pack Expo starts on. So is this an expo? Is this a hashtag that your company created?
No, that is from the expo itself.
Okay, that's perfect. So again, I'm going to I'm going to go into it very quickly.
It's a quick question, Mac.
Yeah.
If say for example that link that hashtag is specifically for the expo, is there a way that a business can piggyback off of that? So if you put say hashtag Pack Expo 2022 and then maybe a forward stroke in your business name or something like that.
You can create, anybody can create a hashtag. So you can create Pack Expo 2022 Nick Cox as an example if you wanted to. So anybody can do that, but you've got to understand what is the intention and the purpose of it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to use it as a branding exercise in one post, not really worth it. If you're going to be doing it as an event that you're going to be doing as a 2-3 months process and it's going to be leading up to it and you can create activity around that, then yes, but otherwise no. So I'm going to go through a couple more things here. This expo link, so if I click on it, it's going to take me to a new link. So this is the client customer experience. And okay, got it. So as an example, this is the expo event. I can add it to my show plan. I can add a note. What else?
It takes you directly to our entry in the show catalog.
Yeah. Which is great. And then it takes vertical markets, products and categories, booths. Just a quick one, Nick. One of the things that I would see if you can is ask them if they can add your company page's URL, LinkedIn page into this text so that people can actually connect with you on LinkedIn or follow your company page through this. Because they're doing all the marketing for you anyway. They might well, you might as well get something out of it.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
So vertical markets, my notes.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. This is all created by them.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing like product categories. You may even want to see if you, depending on how much, what do you call it, characters you've got available in their advertising marketing here, you might want to say meet the team and have a link to each person's LinkedIn as an so you
people that are going to be there.
Yeah, and you can also upload, if you go to view profile, just going to show any one of you, if you want to create a badge event that you want to send to them, if you go to view my profile and you go to edit profile and URL, and you scroll down to the bottom, it's got this little thing over here, public profile badge. You can go and create that and you can send that to them. So you just copy the script. They can go and include one that looks like that as an example. So you can do one for, get each one of your team to do that.
Yeah.
To them, and then it's literally just a professional banner that goes straight to LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So going back to going back to the post. Let's just go anytime today. Come on, computer. Yeah, so I'm just going to go back to that post. Anytime today. Here we go. Okay, so what you want to do is that this is what your post looks like.
Yes.
Image. It's not grabbing an image from the expo or anything like that.
No, I thought it would do.
Yeah, so sometimes it will, but I don't think there's any image. There's no image on here to grab.
Right.
It's only got the banners, and that's not the right dimension, so it's not going to pull it through.
Okay.
So when you post something, you post a link. So if I go and I'm just going to show you.
Now, if you did Google image search, would it bring up something?
So I think you're on to what I'm about to show you, but I'll
Okay.
Let's go into this as an example. You go and you create a post and you add a link to whether it's an article or an event or any another website. As you post that link and you press enter after it, if you just wait for a few seconds, what will happen is it will then embed it and generate an image. Now you can see there it's busy doing something.
Yeah.
In preview. Now, if the preview looks like, and we'll get there in a few seconds. There we go, and that's it.
Mm.
That's not creating a lot of excitement. Now, but what I can do is I can go and I can take that out, leave that link there as an example. So I can go register. Yeah, but there's a new feature, and Brian, you wouldn't have seen this either, in LinkedIn. So say for argument's sake, I'm going to go.
See you, Joanne. We'll speak tomorrow.
Cheers, cheers. So I'm going to go images. I'm just going to use your scan
Yep.
logo. And I'm going to go save as desktop. Scan there. So there's this new feature that if I go, okay, so I'm gonna remove the link. So I'm gonna cancel the embedding.
Yeah.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and add an image. And I'm going to go desktop, scanware, insert.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go done. So now you can have the scanware image. You can have the register here. Now, if you do the same thing on your mobile, Nick,
Yeah.
it'll actually over here where it's got the these options. There's
Yes.
a fourth option on a mobile that says add link.
Oh.
Okay.
Right.
And
Okay.
I'll show you what that looks like. So if I go to, and it will look like this.
but only on the mobile.
Only on the mobile. It's so bloody annoying.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse
So
my
this is
French.
why sometimes I'll do stuff between my desktop and my mobile.
Yeah. Yeah.
See over here where it's got the donate link.
Yeah.
So that's because I can add that on a mobile, and that's
Okay.
so you can just rename it and say register.
Register here. Yeah. Okay.
So you can add links to your images and videos now,
Great.
but you can only do it on a mobile.
Uh-huh.
But as an example, I might want to go and add an image of my own, and then go and say register here, have that in, put my headline over here.
Yeah.
And then what you want to do at the end is you want to make sure you put your, come on, keyboard. Hashtags.
Yeah.
And then you want to have a call to action. And you can go follow me and then put the @ sign and put your own name in as an example. Keep
Okay.
playing Havoc. And then make sure you follow our company page at
Yeah.
and then there you go. And it will actually have that linkable in your post.
Right.
So people can literally just click on Scanway Electronics and go and follow the company page. So it's a way for you to drive traffic back to your company page.
Great.
So let's talk, if we can. When is your event?
Starts on Sunday, hence let's go to church.
Okay. Let's, if we can, Nick, try and pick up sometime this week, even if it's a half an hour, where I can give you some tips on how your team can really get the most out of that event through LinkedIn.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. Eugene, question?
Muted.
Sorry, I've got my computer connected to my what do you call it, docking station, and I knocked it, so everything's just gone nuts. So now I'm only on the laptop as opposed to everything else.
All good.
Anywho, it was a couple of things. Firstly, it's a shame you can't save a post as a draft.
You can.
You can.
Can you?
Okay.
Close it.
So let me show, so I'm going to show you that, because this is something that's new, because before, and I know Raymond and Brian, we've seen this many times where we've written a post and then lost the bloody thing.
What I'll do, guys, actually, when I was posting before, I'll do it in a Word document. I'll spend all my hours on a Word document, getting all the spacing, the capitalizations and so on, getting it perfect on that. When it's done, I then put it on here.
I would still recommend doing that, but this is a feature that's come in as a result of that, Brian. So if I go hit close, hit that little X, it says save as draft, which is really annoying, because it should just have save as draft, but never mind. I design of the user experience here.
I was playing around with the posting options, specifically adding a video. So if you were to go like you did earlier, add a picture, but instead you added a video, how do you add a link, a hyperlink, so that
exactly like I just mentioned, on your mobile phone. So when you do the post, you do it on your mobile phone, you upload the image. So you go and create post on the LinkedIn app.
Yeah.
Upload your video.
Yeah.
Then it will give you an option to add a link. That's exactly what I did with my post today.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, can't do it on the desktop yet.
I'm sure they're going to change that.
Oh, please God, but it's so annoying. Especially for people who do this as a living. Because, most marketers use actual proper software on their desktops. They're not using their mobile phones to run the marketing department. So please God, they will change that. Okay, so how many of you have created a post for tonight?
I have. I just posted it. In fact, I've got to go though, Mac.
Okay, I think all of us do. But
Yeah.
if you could do us a favor, go onto each one of you, go onto each other's profiles through the TLEP5 chat on LinkedIn, and go onto each other's profiles, and then go and make sure that you've commented on each other's posts if you can, within the next hour, because it's the next hour that counts.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Okay.
that sounds cool. Okay, mate.
Excellent stuff. We're going to carry on with SSI next week and delve deeper into some more of this stuff. But we'll use SSI as your guide to help you make sure that you're getting high impact results quickly.